this is Owl.
And this is Trash Panda.
And today we're here to tell you about
our trip to Paris, France.
We thought we'd have this backdrop because it's fancy, and Paris, France is fancy. So, what do you think?
I don't know, I think it needs a little more. Remember what we bought when we were in Paris?
Oh, yeah.
Check out my jaunty blue beret. Dun dun dun, I am France, I am French, look at me.
You look very nice. What do you think about my red beret? I don't know. I think it's a little puffy. Let me get closer to, too close. No, it looks good. I think I look good.
You look magnificent. Or in French, magnifique.
Thank you. You know, I think we still need more French accessories before we start filming. How about cheese?
Ooh, cheese. I love cheese.
I can tell you love cheese. But if we're going to have cheese, I think we also need some bread.
Ooh, bread. I love bread too. Oh, this is the best. This is better than any trash that Trash Panda has ever eaten.
Look here, we've got croissants. We have a baguette. It's a very French collection of bread.
I approve. You know what goes with bread and cheese. You're going to like this. A bottle of French wine.
Wine is my favorite. Oh, thank you, thank you. It's all mine. You can't have, it's mine. My mouth is saying the wrong things. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe if I let Trash Panda have all the cheese and bread, I can have all the wine.
Maybe if I let Owl have all the wine, I can have all the cheese and bread. I love cheese.
But maybe that's not enough. Maybe I'll sweeten the deal. Yeah. Because you're my best friend in the world, I want you to have all that cheese and all that bread.
That's amazing.
Yes, I'm very kind. And while we're at it, how about some famous French cookies called macarons? We've got pistachio, lemon, raspberry.
I'm freaking out. Oh my gosh, they look like tiny rainbow hamburgers. Tiny rainbow hamburgers, tiny rainbow hamburgers, tiny rainbow hamburgers, tiny rainbow hamburgers.
I shall go forth and socialize. No, you're green. You have to be a frog. That's owl logic. It's indisputable. What do you mean you're immortal? I can see right through this invisible ninja. Somebody stole my hat. This cheese pillow is nice. So as you can see, We grabbed our passports, our luggage, and our tickets and took a plane over the Atlantic Ocean to Paris, France. And it was a 10-hour flight overnight. And that's a long, long time. Our hotel was very nice. It was the Westin. And they gave us a welcome gift. Look.
Oh, tiny rainbow hamburgers.
Let's not start that again, please, okay? How about you have a banana?
I guess bananas are okay.
They also gave us some champagne.
Don't you start again. Welcome to the Tuileries Garden, or in French, Les Jardins des Tuileries. It is a large, beautiful public park/garden in the heart of Paris, and it was right across the street from our hotel. Here it is in a painting by Claude Monet. Very pretty. And another painting by Camille Pissarro. Now, actually, before we go on, you may ask, because I asked, what does the word Tuileries mean? It's a funny word, Tuileries. It sounds kind of like a bird. Tuileries, Tuileries, Tuileries. But it's not a bird. Tuileries means tile factory, and that's what stood on the site in medieval times. But not anymore. So, the Tuileries Garden is almost 500 years old. It belonged to kings and queens for years. It was basically their giant backyard until the French Revolution, when right next door to the gardens, King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette were executed by guillotine. After that, the Tuileries became a public park. In 1783, on December 1st, the first manned hydrogen balloon flight took off from the garden. Over 400,000 Parisians attended. That was half the city. And they were going crazy, climbing over walls and everything. Did you know that when hot air balloons landed in the French countryside, peasants freaked out and attacked them with pitchforks? Pitchforks! Remember, people had never, ever flown before ballooning. There were no planes, no helicopters, nothing. Balloons were first. So that would be freaky to your average farmer. And he would have a pitchfork. Today, the gardens have large pools of water and fountains. There are groves of chestnut trees. And it's very peaceful. There are lots of green chairs all around the garden to sit in and relax or read or even take a nap. There are ducks and flowers. In April, there were tulips. There are statues. There's a carousel, too, but it's kind of creepy. I mean, look at those eyes. He who controls the spice controls the universe. There's also a giant Ferris wheel on one end of the garden. It's called the Roue de Paris. Guess what that means? What is a roue? It is the wheel of Paris. That makes sense. It is 200 feet high. Or to put it another way, if you have a dog named Buttons, who looks like this, who is 10 inches tall, that Ferris wheel is 240 buttons high. 240 buttons standing on top of each other, actually on top of each other's heads. And I don't think that's going to happen, but I just want to illustrate that it's a really tall Ferris wheel with good views. And if the Tuileries weren't already awesome enough, look at this. They have goats for lawnmowers. I looked up and there was a goat. I'm like, what are you doing here? And he looked at me and ate some grass, and that was his answer.
Welcome to the Eiffel Tower, or as they say in France, La Tour Eiffel. Anyways, I hope that's how they say it. Even though Paris is 2,000 years old, one of its most iconic symbols, the Eiffel Tower, is only 130 years old. What a little baby! It was built by Gustave Eiffel and his crew in just 2 years, 2 months and 5 days, which was really fast for the day. It was built for the 1889 Exposition Universelle. That means Universal Exhibition, or World's Fair, basically. This event drew 32 million visitors to Paris. Many French writers and artists protested building the tower. They called it a truly tragic street lamp, this ungainly skeleton, this infundibuliform. What does that mean? Let me get my dictionary. To have a shape of a funnel or a cone. Okay. This infundibuliform chicken wire. Basically, they were big-time haters of the Eiffel Tower. To which Gustave Eiffel basically answered whatever and kept building. The Eiffel Tower was a big hit at the exposition. It is 1,063 feet high.
How many buttons high is that?
1,275.6 buttons high. I suggest we round up or down so we don't have to deal with about half of the buttons, okay? It's smart to buy your tickets to go up the Eiffel Tower online months in advance. That's what we did. The perspective from the first level off the ground shows just how large the base is. The second floor has beautiful views of the city. It also has shops that sell gifts and snacks like pretzels. E is for Eiffel, that's good enough for me. Eiffel, 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 Eiffel Tower. The ride to the top is exciting and the views are incredible.
Too high, too high.
On the top level, there's a tiny apartment with some wax figures in it, commemorating a visit there between Eiffel, his daughter, and the inventor of the light bulb and many other devices, Thomas Edison. Speaking of light bulbs, the Eiffel Tower is covered in them. It lights up every night, and for 5 minutes at the top of every hour, it sparkles. And on occasions, there are even fireworks. Trash Panda, this video is already 13 minutes long, and we've only talked about 2 places in Paris. Do you know what that means?
That we are going to have a super long, epic video.
No, that we'll need a part 2.
Oh, okay. But let's talk about one more place first. I'm having fun.
What place, though?
I have an idea. We're going to play a game, a cup game, like magicians do. Listen, we have a rose, a donkey, and a mirror.
We do. How did you do that?
I can't tell you. Secret Trash Panda technique. Now we cover them up with mugs and move them around. And switchy, switch, switchy, I'm so sneaky, switching the cups and the cups and the going faster, faster, I'm gonna go faster. La 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 la, you'll never guess, hey, we're going to stop. And you pick one.
I picked this one, and I predict it's the donkey.
It is the donkey. How did you know that?
Secret owl technique. We do hang out with wizards, you know.
Oh. Well, if it's the donkey, then we're going to talk about Montmartre.
That word is hard to say. The first T is silent. Montmartre.
Montmartre.
Montmartre is a district in North Paris dominated by a large hill. The name Montmartre means Mount of Mars, Mars being the Roman god of war.
I have the power!
Montmartre is an important site in the history of Christianity because St. Denis was beheaded there for preaching his faith.
There's a lot of beheading in Paris.
There is, but not quite like this one. The story goes that after he was decapitated, St. Denis picked up his own head and walked down the hill before dying.
That is unusual.
It makes sense that later a large church called the Basilica du Sacré-Cœur, or Sacred Heart, was built there.
Montmartre used to be a village filled with windmills. Later, from about 1870 to 1914, it became an area frequented by artists, writers, musicians, and performers. Imagine its winding cobblestone streets echoing with lively music and voices pouring from the cafes and cabarets.
Some now famous painters lived and worked in Montmartre, including Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Vincent van Gogh, Henri de Toulouse Lautrec, Amadeo Modigliani, and Pablo Picasso. Many of these artists like to hang out at a tiny cabaret called Le Lapin Agile. No, Le Lapin Agile. That means the agile rabbit in French. We didn't get a good picture of their rabbit sign, but it looks something like this.
I'd be agile in that situation, too.
If we're at the Lapin Agile, it's time for the donkey story.
Donkey! So, what do you think of this painting? It's called Sunset Over the Adriatic by J.A. Boronali, a painter of the excessivist movement and blah, blah, blah. Just kidding, it was painted by a donkey.
What? Please explain.
In 1910, as a joke, an art critic and the owner of the Lapin Agile put two colors on canvas and let a donkey named Lolo paint the rest with a paintbrush tied to her tail.
That's crazy talk.
I know. They gave the donkey veggies to make her tail wag. Ha! And they showed the painting at some hoity-toity art show, and it sold for 400 francs.
I have no idea how much that really is.
I didn't either, so I asked the internet and found out that some poor French lady employed by a match factory in 1910 would have had to work 75 days to make 400 francs.
And I bet she wouldn't have bought a picture painted by a donkey's back half.
Probably not. Nothing against Lolo.
Our experience in Montmartre was wonderful. We visited a square full of artists called the Place de Tertre. Basically, it means a place on the hill. The waiting list to be an artist here is 10 years long. We had cappuccino and croissants. We walked down the many, many steps in front of the Sacré-Cœur to a carousel just opening up for the day.
There are lots of carousels in Paris.
Yeah, they sure do love them. A little white train, which is actually more of a car, took us through the streets of Montmartre. From the train, we saw shops and cool graffiti. Photobomb!
Oh yeah, photobomb! The train stopped near the Moulin Rouge, another famous landmark of Montmartre. Moulin Rouge means red windmill. This cabaret opened in 1889, the same year the Eiffel Tower was completed, and it is still open today. Back in 1889, its garden was graced with a huge fake elephant bought from the Exposition Universelle. You could climb stairs inside one leg of the elephant to a room on top of his back. Artist Toulouse Lautrec spent a lot of time at the Moulin Rouge. He made it famous with his paintings, some of which were posters to masked balls and concerts. He immortalized the can-can dancer. This scandalous dance was set to lively music and involved lots of kicks, cartwheels, and splits. It also revealed a lot of petticoats, legs, and underwear.
As we wrap up part 1 of Owl and Trash Panda Go to Paris, why don't we party like it's 1899 and dance?
Yay!
Whew, that was exhausting. Oh my goodness. Rachel here, hello. And I just hope you enjoyed that. I want you to know there will be a part 2 because that's not all there is of Paris. We were there a week and oh gosh, I wish we had been there a month. But next time we'll talk about specifically, I know, Notre Dame Cathedral and Versailles. Art. There's lots of art in France. Mona Lisa, of course. And food. I'm a little hungry. That's fun. My macarons. Macaron. I just want to say, hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, if you'd like, subscribe. Would love you to subscribe. And if you are my nephews, you know who you are out there. I want you to, I hope this video inspires you to go see Paris one day, to travel. And I also want you to ask your mom about the time she danced the can-can in college for a class project with demonstration. I think that needs to happen. So, okay. Thanks and goodbye. Have a good day. I forgot to mention, do you want down? What do you want? I don't know what you're looking at the red dot. Is that the red dot you've been chasing? Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, I'm going to put you down here. I forgot to mention, there are lots and lots of notes in the description. Not links, but, you know, attribution to images and music, and also stories I couldn't include. A circus trapeze artist in the 50s named Rose Gold, and her partners did a trapeze act on the Eiffel Tower. Another guy, I think in the 20s, con artist, he managed to sell the Eiffel Tower as scrap metal twice and got away with it. So anyhow, lots of cool things in the notes if you are the kind that likes the notes. Low battery, shut up. And I am signing off again, this time properly, with au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir. Okay, improperly, because I can't do the French R. Au revoir. There we go. So that's close enough. So, okay.